Thank you for coming to Starbright Storytime. This is a review or overview of the books that were read during week 11. The first book was The Tiger and the Wise Man by Andrew Fusek Peters, illustrated by Diana Mayo. This book has wonderful, bright illustrations, and it depicts a story of a tiger that becomes ensnared and trapped, and the wise man who learns his lesson about setting the tiger free. The tiger claims he is tricked, and then the wise man gets tricked, and he pleads for his life from different sources, ultimately finding that a jackal comes along to trick the tiger. Find out how the story ends by reading the book. It's based on a traditional tale, The Tiger and the Wise Man by Andrew Fusek Peters, illustrated by Diana Mayo. After that book, sort of moved into a theme about dreams, sleep, and imagination. So the first one here is Nicole's Boat by Alan Morgan, with art by Jirina Marton. This is a cute storybook that makes a wonderful bedtime story. It's a little child, Nicole, has created a world in her imagination just before bedtime, and her father comes along to tuck her in and further explores her imagination by telling her a story that leads her deeper and deeper into her imagination and into sleep and dream. If you have difficulty getting a child to sleep, this is a good recommendation. It's sort of a windy story that brings your child to a place of calm and imagination. Nicole's Boat by Alan Morgan, art by Jirina Marton. The next book is The Big, Big Sea by Marton Waddell, illustrated by Jennifer Eachus. This book isn't so much an exploration of dreams or sleep, but rather what happens at night. The different feelings that the night can evoke. In this particular storybook, a young child makes special memories with her mother as they go out under the full moon to the beach and greet the sea. It's an experience the little child will remember forever. And it's also nice, a good book if you live by a source of water and you might be inclined to go out at night and enjoy the full moon reflecting on the water, whether it be the ocean, a pond, or a lake. This was The Big, Big Sea by Marton Waddell, illustrated by Jennifer Eachus. Following that book, we have this wonderful, lovely When I'm Sleepy by Jane R. Howard, illustrated by Lynne Cherry. I think these illustrations are darling. And in this book, the protagonist explores what it might be like to live, what it might be like to sleep as the animals sleep in different locations. As I said, I really like these illustrations. This is a good book also to add to your child's library if they have difficulty sleeping in their own bed. At the end of the book, the protagonist gets to a point where, after exploring her imagination, she's decided that when she's sleepy, she really appreciates having her own bed with her own warm blanket and her own soft pillow. This is the safest, most comfortable place to fall asleep. That is When I'm Sleepy by Jane R. Howard, illustrated by Lynne Cherry. The next book was Anna Banana and Me by Lenore Blegvad, illustrated by Erik Blegvad. I love these illustrations. This isn't so much about sleep, more about imagination. It's truly a story of two children who find friendship with one another. One of these children is bold and adventurous. That would be Anna Banana. And the other is a bit more timid and fearful. As I said, I think these illustrations are wonderful. But really, what we're looking at here is a storybook about friendship and overcoming fears. And so the protagonist, well, I should say Anna Banana, sort of creates a storyline. In her storytelling, she actually creates a monster, something that the protagonist can imagine and fears. And there comes a point in time when he is so fearful he can't move, but he remembers something that his little friend Anna Banana told him that gives him the confidence to overcome his fears. One thing I like about this book as well is that it's set in a city. It's set in a metropolitan city, and I think that it's nice when children experience places through books and their imagination that depict places much like their own hometown. And also, I think it's nice that children can explore places that are different from their own hometown. So in this book, we have a city park, it looks like. That's really nice. It's nice. It's something that's nice for children that are living in suburban areas to see. But also, it's nice for kids that live in a city to recognize something similar to their own home location. As I said, there's sort of a theme here, and in this particular book, we're shown how the protagonist lets his imagination get the better of him for a bit, and then he finds his confidence to overcome his fears. Anna Banana and Me by Lenore Blegvad, illustrated by Erik Blegvad. The next book was Inside My Imagination by Marta Arteaga, illustrated by Zuzana Selech. This book fits in the theme by exploring imagination. I love these illustrations as well. The author takes a look at the things that are formed in our imagination and how we create fantasy from those ideas and notions. How truly our imagination creates from memories of sounds, of images, memories and experiences, words, all the things we can recall from our senses. It's an exploration of ideas and how more ideas can be formed by exploring our imagination. All of those ideas, like the words, all hold each other's hands and can create a new story, a new fantasy. It's a nice book. Maybe for children that are a little bit older. I think conceptually it might be for children that are more age 7 and up. But it's a beautiful book that can be shared by children of all ages. Again, Inside My Imagination by Marta Arteaga, illustrated by Susana Saleh. And finally, this book, Hey, Get Off Our Train, by John Birmingham. This is a very different book, in my opinion. It is a nice story about exploring dreams, or exploring a dream. It's a depiction of a dream. Sort of light-hearted story to begin with. And the way these pictures are illustrated is kind of the baseline of reality. But what happens is the artist, the author, illustrator, has created these very emotional paintings to go with the story. And to me, it's a very different juxtaposition in a children's book. But I really like it because we are exploring a dream, and dreams are emotional. So there is this, so the dream does evoke ulterior emotions, different feelings, different sensations. Here's the story of what's happening in the dream, but this is more the picture of what the dreamer is feeling. I love that the emotions are conveyed in these paintings, which, of course, free for your own interpretation. It's a very different kind of picture book. But we do explore in this book the fantasy of the dream. So that is Hey, Get Off Our Train by John Birmingham, and that winds up the week. The book's about sleep, dreams, and imagination. Hey, Get Off Our Train by John Birmingham. Inside My Imagination by Marta Arteaga and Susana Saleh. Anna, Banana, and Me by Lenore Blegvad, illustrated by Erik Blegvad. When I'm Sleepy by Jane R. Howard, illustrated by Lynne Cherry. The Big Big Sea by Marton Waddell, illustrated by Jennifer Eachus. Nicole's Boat by Alan Morgan, with art by Jirina Marton. And The Tiger and the Wise Man by Andrew Fusek Peters, illustrated by Diana Mayo. These are the books from week 11. Thank you for coming to Starbright Storytime.